My guest today is Leah Hurley, the CEO of American Dream Nut Butter. Now, in 2018, Leah was diagnosed with cancer, and while having a nut allergy, she started to make almond butter and cashew butter as a way to get her protein. Now, not intending to launch her own business, but as a way to get by with 4 children and a husband, Leah began selling her nut butters to bodybuilders and fitness gurus. Today, American Dream has grown into a beloved brand known not just for its indulgent flavors, but for the mission of giving back. Every jar is a testament to Leah's belief that life's sweetest moments are those shared with others, especially when they're built on compassion and purpose. Now, from her kitchen to the hearts of customers everywhere, Leah's story is one of hope, resilience, and the power of creating something beautiful from life's toughest trials. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Leah Hurley and who is the CEO of American Nut Butters, to the show. Welcome, Leah.
Hi, thank you.
Well, tell us about your past cancer diagnosis and how that led you into this new business.
It's crazy because I had cancer and didn't know it for 10 years. And so all I knew is that I was sick and I couldn't eat anything except for nut butter and turkey and rice. I went on like that for about 5 years, trying to figure out, going and seeing all these different doctors, what's wrong with me? Like everything I ate would make me physically ill. I started having panic attacks and just not feeling like myself, like racing heart and all of these strange symptoms, which I'd go to the doctor and they'd be like, "Oh, it's IBS or you have anxiety." And my husband's like, "You've never had anxiety. Like that's not an issue you struggle with. Like, you're the opposite. You don't worry enough about things that you should." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Something's wrong with me. So I ended up finding it myself. I was an ultrasound tech, so I was just looking around and was like, "Oh no, there's this large mass here with a ton of blood flow. Like that's not good." So I showed it to my radiologist, and he's like, "I think it's stomach cancer. You need to call your doctor and get all these tests done and all the things." And so I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So meanwhile, I'm finding out that I have cancer, but I don't know what type it is or anything like that at this point. I have a biopsy done. They call and tell me over a voicemail while I'm at work. I can't answer it, so I get a voicemail telling me that I have stage 4 neuroendocrine cancer and not anything of what we're going to do about it or any of that. And I still have to finish my work day, go home. That was on Friday evening. Go home, spend the whole weekend like Googling stage 4 neuroendocrine cancer, which is horrible. Like almost everybody dies. Usually it's like elderly people that get it and it's like so far like spread that they can't do anything about it. So I go the whole weekend looking at my small kids and my husband like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not going to make it," kind of thing. So on Monday, the surgeon calls and he's like, "This is what we have to do. We have to do this big surgery." I was cut like from my sternum to my pubis. They took out part of my liver, my gallbladder, part of my pancreas. They took out my intestines and then felt through them and put them back in. Like they basically took out everything in my abdomen and then put it back. Um, and so while I was having that surgery, like the surgery was so intense that I had to be sedated for 3 days. I spent a week in the hospital. There was a 3 month like time where I couldn't work and my husband had to be off to take care of me and the kids. Like I couldn't bathe myself. I couldn't get to the bathroom. I couldn't get to the kitchen, like almost bedridden type of thing for several weeks. And so during that time, we were like, how are we going to pay our bills? Like, there is no way that we can pay our house payment, pay for our cars, like, eat. So people at my work were donating their PTO, like their paid time off to me because I just had a baby recently. And so I didn't have any PTO. So they were donating that. Old friends from high schools, churches were setting up meal trains and stuff like that for us to, have the ability to eat, donating money. Like our neighbors were doing that as well, just like the whole community coming together in support. And so I had been doing nut butter on the side, like on my days off, just making it for people who were coming to my house and buying it from me, making it in my kitchen. They would just show up with their mason jar, I'd fill it, and they'd go on their way. Um, and so at that time, I had made up enough that I thought would last for the 3 months I was going to be off with like my recurrent customers that I had. And we had been selling like a little bit online as well. And so when I'm in the hospital, I'm like, sedated and out of it. Mark comes up there and he's like shaking me. And he's like, "You have to give me the recipe for the nut butters. We sold everything. We sold out of everything, like while you were in surgery." And I'm like, "You're kidding." And like, I have chills still because we're like, that's God. Like, me and Mark don't know what we're doing. I'm an ultrasound tech. He installed garage doors. We have no business background, no marketing background at all. And to get to where we are, like, we're like, God has his hand on our business, guiding us of what to do. And like that right there just proves it, because like at a time when you think you're down and out, like not only did he cure my cancer, but he also like escalated our business so much in that time that we needed it, that we didn't have to take out any loans to pay our bills. We didn't have to borrow money from anybody aside from like what they'd gifted us, like gift cards and stuff for the grocery store. My husband ended up not going back to work. He was able to work butter full time after that 3 month period. I was able to retire 5 months later from my role as an ultrasound tech and do butter full time. And by the time like summer came, we had like 20 employees. Now we have about between 50 and 70, depending on the season. We now have a 40,000 square foot facility that we make all of our different products in, and everything's made like right here in America. Like we source all of our ingredients like from the farm. We buy from manufacturers that are here in the States. Just try to have like a fully American made product. And part of my business philosophy, because I always say I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just kind of like winging it, or that like an accidental entrepreneur they call me, and I'm like, I think it's more of like a faith-based entrepreneur. We pray about every decision. Before this call, I was praying beforehand for it to go well, give me the right words to say, because things like this do make me nervous, to do these kind of things. But I feel like if you put God at the center of your business, then everything, falls into place if it's meant to be. If it's his will for us to succeed, then we will. If it's not, then it's not the right opportunity yet.
That is just probably one of the best stories I have ever heard. And it just shows, like you said, when God's hand is on it, you may not know what you're doing, but he's going to provide every step. And he did that for you. What amazes me right now is you were carrying this cancer around for 10 years and didn't know it. Were the
Yeah.
doctors shocked at that? Because normally, what? Someone wouldn't survive 10 years with that type of cancer?
No, not even, and especially the stage that I had it, like to be stage 4. And then, like I said, to not know it, I had 4 pregnancies during that time as well. So, like, every time I was pregnant, I had that cancer the whole time. Like, think of everything like that's going on in my life, all these different events. I think back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had cancer then and didn't even know it. But the thing is like when they were going through all of the testing, they were trying to figure out where the source was, because there was this mass in a lymph node in my porta hepatis, which is like right where your stomach, gallbladder, and pancreas and liver meet. There's like a little spot there. I had a lymph node that was a mass, like with all this blood flow and stuff. So they're like, we can't find the origin site. Like that's the only site it had spread to, and thankfully it wasn't everywhere, because then it's like they can't. It can only be removed with surgery. It doesn't respond to chemo or radiation. Um, so another cool thing is the PET scan that I had done. It was only like FDA approved the year before I found out I had cancer. So had I found out 10 years prior, they wouldn't have had that special PET scan. I wouldn't have had the skilled surgeon that did my surgery. So it was kind of like God's timing again. That yes, it would have been beneficial had I known about it 10 years ago, but maybe not, because they didn't have the correct treatment. They didn't have the correct testing until I found it years later scanning myself.
You know,
But
it reminds me of the story in the Bible where Jesus and the disciples were asking because there was a blind man who had been blind for like 38 years. And the disciples were asking Jesus, well, who sinned? Did he sin or did his parents sin? And he said, neither one of them. This is for the glory of God. So a lot of people don't realize that there are things that happen. And in your case, it's almost like everything was orchestrated. And I mean, some people may not understand what I'm about to say, but for God's glory in the end. Because if it wasn't for that, here's your company now at 70 employees, 40,000 square feet. Who would have ever thought that it would start in a kitchen and
yeah,
in the
with it,
midst of a cancer battle? I mean, that is nothing but God and a miracle.
right? That's what I always say. Like, I don't like that all these bad things have had to happen to me. I've had like a crazy upbringing too. Like, my mother left when I was a small child. I was raised by teenage boys. Like, I'm lucky to be alive. It's kind of like being raised by wolves kind of thing. I had a 14-year-old that was like essentially my mom when I was little, a 14-year-old boy. So to be like who I am today, all these things happen for a reason. I was actually going to go to college to be a pediatrician is what I wanted to do. And then I'd applied to like three different schools, like Butler and Anderson, and I got into all these, different colleges. They were super expensive. I was paying for it myself. So I'm like, man, I don't really know what I want to do. Do I want to waste all this money? I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to get a job at a tanning salon. Well, working in this tanning salon was God orchestrated because there my boss was my now sister in law. I met her brother, who's my husband. We've been together since I was 18. I took this year off for school. She told me, you should go be an x ray tech. They make a lot of money and all you do is push a button. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, that sounds interesting. I'm going to go look into that. Well, it turns out I really got into ultrasound. Like, I went and job shadowed and did all these things. I really got into ultrasound and decided that's what I want to do. And so I applied to the school. I went and did my prereqs, applied to the school. They only accept 10 people and like thousands apply. And so I'm like, if I get accepted, then like, this is what I'm going to do. So I got accepted. So I'm just like, okay, this is what God wants me to do. I'm going to be an ultrasound tech. Had I not been an ultrasound tech, I never would have found my cancer. I had bleeds with each one of my children. Like I had a lot of infertility issues, took a long time to get pregnant, those kind of things. If I hadn't been an ultrasound tech, I never would have discovered those and then like essentially saved their lives. Like we have four little miracles, all because of the job that I had that I wasn't even supposed to have. It's not originally what I wanted to do. This job isn't even originally what I wanted to do. I kind of fell into this too. And so all these things that I think just happened accidentally, I look back and it's like it was him the entire time. So it's like now when I experience things and I'm like, oh man, like this stinks, like, this is the worst news or this is the worst thing to happen to us. It's like I just need to wait because he's going to turn it around. It's going to be better than I ever imagined. Like I prayed all the time for just one baby. I got four, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, I'd work, all these hours and things and I'd be like, oh man, I wish I could spend more time with my kids. Like that was my prayer before butter. My prayer was to be able to spend more time with my kids. So I was thinking, oh, maybe like I'll work part time, or something will happen. Mark will get like a better job and I can work part time. And then God gives us this huge business where we get to like help people every day because that was my thing too. I was so afraid to leave my job and not get that satisfaction of helping people every day. Like working in the medical field and getting to meet all these different people and help them along like their health journey and things like that. And now I get to do that on an even huger scale with butter. So I just feel like if we just be patient, then he provides our every need, even if we didn't know it was a need or a want that we wanted.
I love this. I love this, Leah. You are an incredible inspiration. And ladies and gentlemen, if your faith isn't just being encouraged and energized right now, something's wrong with you because she's given us the most perfect Bible lesson of faith right now. And I am soaking this in, Leah. I am just loving this so much. But you have got to tell me because how did you have a nut allergy, but then you go into making nut butters?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't know I had a peanut allergy either until I started like I didn't feel that good when I ate it, but I was just like, oh, I don't feel good when I eat anything, so I'm going to keep eating it. And then I found out that my son had a peanut allergy. And so then his doctor was like, well, one of you has to have a peanut allergy. And I'm like, neither one of us do. And I'm like, wait a minute. I get nauseous every time I eat peanut butter. Like maybe it's me. So they tested me and it's me. So I'm like, dang it. But I can have our almond and our cashew. And so that's why we also have really stringent cleaning practices. And like the State Board of Health, when they come inspect our kitchen, our inspector always tells me we have the cleanest kitchen that he sees because I treat it like an operating room. Coming from the medical field, working in surgery and things like that, I taught people how to scrub in and how to glove up, with the sterile gloves. We have suits that people put on. They can't wear their street clothes in there. They have like almost like a hazmat type suit, the jacket and the mask and all the things so that nothing possibly could get into the butter. We also have separate kitchens for like gluten-free and regular, like so there's no risk of cross contamination there and just keeping everything separate so to make sure that we keep ourselves safe and all of our customers who might have allergies as well. So it's
I,
kind of
I
like it worked because if I hadn't had an allergy myself, I wouldn't be to know to be so strict about all of the things.
Yeah, and that's that's the thing about nut allergies. A lot of people do not realize that there are those that are allergic to peanuts, and it can be a very severe situation. Then there are those that have a nut allergy, but it's only tree bearing, which means
Yep.
they may not be able to have almonds or or walnuts, but they can eat peanuts.
Yep.
It's very strange, but it happens. And I know my kids have had a tree bearing nut allergy, but for some, they end up growing out of it when they get
Yeah.
older. Some do, some don't. But with your company, what flavors do you have available?
Well, I've created over 1,000. And like I even have like a whole book of like extra flavors because since I had cancer and things like that, I'm always prepared for the what if. So I'm like, if something happens to me, there's enough new flavor ideas for you to run for like 10 years without me, and list this, this worker can help you do this one can help you do that so that it can continue to go on without me kind of thing. But we have usually about 70 in rotation. I try to have at least 10 of each nut on the website at a time because my goal is to have a butter for every body. So if somebody's vegan, I've got like 5 or 6 choices for you. If somebody can only have peanut, there's like 20 butters that you can choose from. If you can have almonds, there's at least 10 or 15, for almond, same for cashew. And then I also like to have a butter for every craving. So, like, let's say you love to eat cheesecake after dinner, then you'd want to get peanut butter cheesecake or cookies and cream cheesecake almond butter, or we have like a lemon cheesecake cashew. Or if you're a brownie guy, I really want a big brownie, with ice cream on it. I've got, brownie toast crunch is like brownie with ice cream on top is like what it tastes like. And the cool thing about our butters is it's not really the toppings that give you that flavor. If you think about a cake, the cake flavor all comes from the cake. The sprinkles on the top are just like give you that extra prettiness or the extra crunch. I flavor the bases to taste like that dessert. Like that's how it ends up staying healthy because the flavoring has no sugar, no additives, 0 calories. I'm using those to make the butter taste the way that it does. And then using stevia to sweeten the base. So that's how they stay low sugar is that like the toppings on the top, by the time you mix them up, it's not really giving you that much sugar or that much junk food because the butter is majority of the jar.
Wow,
Excuse
wow, that is incredible because you know we know that there's healthy fats
me.
and a lot of your almond butters, your cashew butters, they're healthy. So many people use them in the morning, maybe with a bagel or whatever. And for you, what's the number one flavor?
Well, for my personal one, I can't pick a personal flavor because I feel like these are all my children, and I'm such a weirdo. I give them all like personalities, and I'm like, oh well, this one like she loves like she's fun and peppy, and this one he is this like they have genders, they like and the ambassadors really get into like the quirkiness of it. But so I can't pick a favorite, but I will say like our top seller is Brienne's cookie batter. Brienne is one of the people that like helped me get started on Instagram. She's a big like fitness influencer and a friend of mine, and she helped me get a following on there. Like she did a giveaway and got us 1,000 followers in a day, and it just kind of like snowballed our social media. And so she has a product line named after her. And so she came to me one time and was like, I'd love if you had a butter that was even higher in protein and, was like a cake batter flavor. And I'm like, well, I'll do you one better. I can get it with like 12 or 13 grams of protein per serving, which is like 3 ounces of chicken. So you can need 2 tablespoons of this, peanut butter that tastes like cake batter and Oreos, had a child. That's what this butter tastes like. So it's birthday cake flavored peanut butter. It has, I believe, 13 grams of protein per serving, and then it has Oreos on the top and sprinkles. Like when you mix that in, it's like birthday cake Oreos, in a jar of peanut butter. And so that is our like it's been our number one seller for a long time. We retired it for a little bit and then brought it back, and now it's back up to the top again. And there's a lot of butters in her line that all have 12 to 13 grams of protein. They also have added collagen. There's a full serving of collagen in each serving. So that helps like your hair, your nails, your skin, and your gut health and all of those things. And
I
I think she has about 7 flavors in that line right now.
Wow, I love that, and that'd be the one that I'd probably pick. And but let me ask you this: you have a program at your company called American Heroes Program. What is that about?
Yeah, so with the American Heroes program, you can nominate a veteran or first responder, or even sometimes a cancer patient. But it's usually veterans and first responders. You can send an email to carepackage@americandreamnutbutter.com. And you can just give, like, let's say that your nephew is in the Marines. You can give us his name and his address, and we'll send him a jar of nut butter with a note in there that thanks him for his service, lets him know that somebody was thinking of him enough, to send him this jar. And then we put in a little handwritten note, some candy, things, and like make it a special thing for them to open. And then we also have our butter called One Tough Cookie. It's a cashew butter with chocolate chip cookies, Oreos, and M&Ms, all in this like cookie dough flavored cashew butter. And every month we pick a different cancer charity to recognize. And so during that month as well, you can nominate a person who either has that cancer or had that cancer, and we will send them a jar of One Tough Cookie. And like the same thing, let them know that, we are praying for them, hoping that they get through whatever they're going through. We're proud of how far they've come, those kind of things. This last month was colon cancer. So we donated to a colon cancer charity. We featured one of my friends who is a colon cancer survivor in our One Tough Cookie program. And so we rotate that out each month as a different cancer that we're donating to.
So you not only ship all over the United States, you ship overseas to our military then.
Yep. Yeah,
That
and you can order from anywhere. We ship to like New Zealand, Canada, Africa. Like we've shipped our butters everywhere. I think it's so cool when an order comes in and we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to Australia. Like this is crazy. I never
I
thought some
I
country would
am
buy cream, but
I am so amazed, but I am so excited for your company, American Dream Nut Butter. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is the American dream, but this is the American dream done God's way. And Leah, wow. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what God has done for you, your family, your business. It's just an incredible testament. It's like I tell people, your test becomes your testimony. And it has in this case and continues to grow. And ladies and gentlemen, Leah Hurley's American Dream Nut Butters, again, as she has told us, offers several great tasting flavors per month and ships daily, not only in the United States, but on the global scale. And as well, American Dream Nut Butters donates 10% of all of their profits to veterans. And every month through their website, veterans are nominated to receive a free jar of nut butter. 100 veterans are chosen each month. So for more information, but I'm going to tell you, go to americandreamnutbutter.com and place an order. And if there is a military veteran in your family or a friend, hey, see if you can't get them nominated for a free jar of nut butter. And well, what can we say? We just say spread the love with American Dream Nut Butter. And again, go to americandreamnutbutter.com. Support this company. They're doing amazing. They're not only creating tasteful and amazing recipes of nut butters for all of us to enjoy, but they're doing a great work. And again, I'm going to support them because God's hand is on them. And I love seeing people like Leah just prosper and grow and blessing others at the same time. And Leah, I want to thank you so much for sharing with us your incredible story, not only about you, but also about your company as well today.
thank you. Thank you for having me. It was amazing.
Well, you're very, very welcome. And again, ladies and gentlemen, go to americandreamnutbutter.com. It's on the bottom of your screen for all of their delicious goodness. And again, order today. I'll be right back.
Hey y'all, it's Mackenzie Phipps here, and I just want to take a moment to congratulate the one and only Dr. Bond. This year is his 20th anniversary of the Dr. Ward Bond Show. 20 years! That is absolutely incredible, and I'm so honored to have been one of the guests on his show. Dr. Bond, thank you so much for supporting all of us artists out there and for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with all of us. I, as well as all of the other artists, appreciate it, and I cannot wait to be back on the show. So again, congratulations on 20 years. 2025 is your year, sir. So I hope that you rein it in and you take it day by day and that it brings you nothing but continued success. And I hope that you stay safe and stay blessed, sir.